From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Monday Oxford Exxon podcast. It's game week. Ole Miss and Texas Tech, Saturday, 11 a.m. from Houston, Texas. Plenty of coverage at rebelgrove.com. As the week moves on, we'll have guests throughout the week on the Billy's Pecans Hotline. We'll be at Funky's on Thursday night for the first game week edition of the live Oxford Exxon podcast there. Thanks to Dave Womack for joining us on Thursday. We have not talked to you since then, so appreciate all the listens, the comments, and to Dave, so far we've had Todd Wade, Romero Miller, and Dave Womack joining us at Funky's on Thursday nights.
It's Jeffrey Wright this Thursday.
Jeffrey Wright. So we'll have takes galore. We'll have picks. We'll have a good time. It'll be your typical Friday podcast in a live form. So it's I don't know if as Jeffrey always says, he's going to put the butts in seats just for the name, but hey, the content not bad at all. So we'll have a big time on Thursday night.
From a content standpoint, it will be one of our better ones.
Yeah, because he'll,
I don't know that he has the same pull as Romero Miller, for example, but he is a radio star now.
He's growing in the profession. He is. He's doing quite the job. All thanks to us and that internship and then employment that we bestowed upon him at rebelgrove.com. We've also introduced a couple interns for this academic athletic year as well.
Just in time for Neal's picks.
Just in time for Neal's picks.
We had to get
those are different types of interns.
Yeah,
That's not the same intern.
No, because the interns over there are really crunching numbers right now. It's been
site interns and palatial interns, two completely different requirements for those positions.
I checked in this morning on the interns to see how we were going now that we were in game week. I did not get any answers. I suspect that last night took something out of them.
Okay, fair enough.
Crunching numbers, tequila, things like that. I mean, that is a well-run
salt
machine
or no salt
over there. Some of the interns use salt. Some of the interns just don't have time for the salt. They're busy predicting games.
Okay. Fair enough. If you don't have time for the salt, you can get a daiquiri at the Oxford Exxon. It makes it easy for you. As little as $3.99, as big as 44 ounces if you'd like a lot of daiquiri today. There at the Oxford Exxon, get the Speed Pass Plus, save money at the pump, make it efficient, make it easy. Also, don't worry about identity theft, credit card skimmers, and the like. There with the Oxford Exxon, go next door to the Oxford Crystal, put them in cheese bites. Take advantage of all those things in one place next door to each other there with the Oxford Exxon and the Oxford Crystal. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory. Call the number 662-257-1900. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for, what Ford you're looking for. Maybe you're shopping a couple of things. Maybe you're looking for something down the road. I've done all of these things. It works. You'll get a quote quickly within 15 minutes in business hours. That quote's right to the bottom line. It's a hell of a resource for you because you get the quote and you don't have to do that's his first thing and now I got to go. Nope, that's the quote. That's the quote. And so you can either shop that quote around or you can go ahead and get it done and enjoy the benefits of Clark Ford and a hassle-free car buying experience. Near the end of your deal, tell Corey that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast. You can mention any of our family of podcasts, and you'll save $500 on your bottom line. Clark Ford in Amory, 662-257-1900.
Also, thanks to Blue Delta for giving the trivia question each and every week there for the live show. They have been answered by someone in the crowd, so you typically are probably always going to have to be there to have a shot at the $200 gift certificate from Blue Delta.
I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah, great product. I was at a wedding in Lexington, Kentucky over the weekend, the rehearsal dinner on Friday night.
Looking forward to talking about that.
I wore my Blue Delta khaki slacks with a blazer to the rehearsal dinner. They go with everything. So you can check them out at BlueDeltaJeans.com and also have time to get a pair of game day pants, design some powder blue, some navy, some red with different color stitching, and the like there with Blue Delta. So, again, BlueDeltaJeans.com.
I've thought about the powder blue. I'm not sure that it would look good on an old bald dude like me, but they're really good looking.
Yeah, I'm struggling with the color that will go with multiple colors of shirts at this point. It's kind of where I'm trying to figure out for my next edition.
Yeah.
Also, keeping clean.
Yeah, keeping clean is worth thinking.
You don't have to worry about that with blue jeans, but you get into the colors, and suddenly that's a little more of an issue.
More with me, than even the clean, because I mean, you can go dry clean.
Of course.
And they're good dry cleaners. It's just sometimes I look at stuff and I think that's really good looking. There's just no way that's going to look good on me. There's no way I'm going to be able to pull that off. And so,
but see, you think that probably about 80% more than actually is true. So you're always going to trend to, I don't know, if it's even a question.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll readily admit that I have massive self-image issues, but yeah, but I'm just telling you, like when I look at stuff, I'm like, oh, I like that, but that wouldn't look good on me. I do that a lot.
Yeah.
And so I end up going kind of more conservative because I think, well, there's just a better chance that won't be embarrassing.
I understand. Press conference today, the first Monday media availability that'll happen every single week. Same
11:30
schedule
again?
Yeah, same schedule as in years past. Matt Luke at 11:30, and then Wesley McGriff and Phil Longo, the coordinators, following Matt. I'm pretty sure that at least in past seasons, it's been available on ESPN Network Plus, so I'm assuming that will continue to be the case online. But either way, we'll have coverage to you at rebelgrove.com. Neil's 10 Weekend Thoughts up, as well as plenty more content on the site as well from yesterday. We were both out of town over the weekend taking care of some personal stuff prior to game week getting here this week. Again, I was at the wedding. Neil, you were in Tennessee as well. I drove through there yesterday coming back from Lexington, but it looked like Carson's first club soccer with this team went pretty well.
It did. It went really well. We actually didn't get the schedule until late Thursday, early Friday, and they didn't play until 2 o'clock on Saturday. So we stayed here Friday night, went to the Oxford-Starkville game, left in the third quarter. Then we went to Jackson. We got to Jackson a little after 11, and he had a game at 2, and I think it was like walking on the surface of the sun. It was hot. And I'm one of those deals where you just start watching your kid, making sure there's no heat stroke. Because a couple of the kids, about 10 minutes into the game, a couple of the kids, you can start seeing it. It's taking its effect. Kids were throwing up before halftime.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So keep in mind, this is where he is in his soccer life. This was his first ever 11v11 game.
Okay.
This was also his first ever game on a regulation field.
Okay.
So running more and playing longer than he's ever played before. He held up really well. They played at 2. They won 3-2, beat the host team. They played in the highest bracket. His old club very frequently would play down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making fun. I wrote about this in 10 Thoughts, and I'll talk about it a little bit here if anybody even gives one damn, and if you don't, well, fast forward. Oxford's like a lot of towns. The politics of youth soccer, youth baseball, probably youth football, I don't know because he's not involved, are weird. They're weird in Oxford. They're probably weird in Jackson, Tennessee. They're probably weird in Amory. They're weird everywhere. Except they're certainly weird in Ruston. They're probably weird in Monroe. They're weird everywhere. This team, he fits it better. He knew this back in the spring. I wrote about this in 10 Thoughts. I'll talk about it a little bit here. I was really proud of him. And I never made a big deal out of it last spring or anything because I was really proud of him. We were at a tournament. He'd played in a tournament in Oxford, and his team just got killed. And Carson does not like losing at all. Doesn't lose well. Now, he's not bad, but he's not outwardly bad, but he'll get in the car afterwards, and it bothers him. Okay? He'll be a good sport, and he'll go shake hands and say good game and all that stuff. But he doesn't like it when the other kids don't take the loss the same way he takes the loss. And they were playing a team in Oxford. It was on a Sunday morning. They were playing a team from somewhere in Louisiana that was killing them and trying to really kill them. And so he was frustrated at them. He was frustrated at his teammates. And he looked over at the bench, and some of the kids are trying to knock each other off the bench, laughing and goofing around. And he got in the car, and he said, I can't do this anymore. I said, you can't do what anymore? And he said, I can't play with this team anymore. And I figured it'll pass. A couple weeks later, they had a tournament in Memphis. It didn't go particularly well. And actually, we were walking off the field after one of the games that they actually won, and he looked over at – no, they lost. He looked over at another field, and another team from Oxford, a different club, was playing. He knows some of the kids, and he said, I think I'm going to try out for that team next year. And I said, okay. And he goes, do you think they'd let me train with them? And I said, I can ask. I sent some emails. I asked, hey, could he train? They called me. I talked a little bit, and they were very upfront. Hey, there's no promises being made here. And I said, cool, because he's not asking for any promises. He's asking if he can train. He'll come out and train, and it's like, okay, but no attitude, no nothing. I'm like, nope. And he did. And he went out, and I'll be quick with this. He went out last year. His club team in Oxford trained on Tuesday, Thursday, and played on the weekends. This team trained Monday, Wednesday, Saturday morning. And he just went. Never asked a thing, never said, hey, how am I doing? How do I have you think I can make the team? Do you think I can? None, never said anything. He just went and trained. And after the first week of training, he got in the truck one day and he goes, that's a better fit for me. I'm getting better. That's all he ever said about it. And so it was cool to see him kind of get, you always want to see your kids be happy. And they won a game. They played a team from Kentucky on Saturday night out at Jackson University School, which is a really pretty campus, by the way. And
University School of Jackson.
USJ. Yeah. University School of Jackson. USJ. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Really pretty. Have you been out there?
No, but I'm fair. That's where the Overbys were from, Preston and those guys. They've had some. They've been some baseball players at Ole Miss from there.
Really impressive facility. Really was. And anyway, they played a team from Kentucky that had 2 or 3 really good players, and you could tell that team had played a lot of soccer together. And they lost 3-0. They played pretty well, but they just couldn't. That team was good, man. And then they played yesterday a team from, I guess they were from Memphis. I'm not sure. They lost 2-1. They kind of beat themselves. But the games were really competitive. He liked it. His teammates played the way that he plays. It was just a good fit. It was really rewarding. But it was hot.
Yeah, you talk about it, and you put a lot of caveats in, and I get that because of the way people take things. But it's good for kids at every age to have levels of competition to fit their personalities. Whether that's, hey, we're just out here to hang out. It's, hey, we're out here to get better. Hey, we're here to take this really seriously. It's, hey, we're not to take this seriously. I mean, those options are good because it's just like coaching. You're not going to fit every player with one mold. So having those different teams and those different availabilities is probably the number one positive to the whole circumstance and situation that you've been through at this point. So
yeah, and I know because he's taken some crap at school and heard things. Kids on his old team told another one of his buddies that, hey, we're glad he's not out here. You hear some of that stuff. Had a parent of one of those kids sit in front of us at the high school game Friday night, not say a word. It's kind of cold. It's youth soccer, babe. I mean, I'm sorry. I wasn't obligated. We weren't obligated to stay with your club. If you want that to be the end of a friendship, that's cool.
It's every sport in some ways.
It's insane, but whatever. He's happier. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. I get what people say, we're trying to grow soccer in Oxford. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not. I mean, not to sound like a jackass, I'm trying to make sure that my kid has a good experience. The end. That's it. I mean, if that makes me a jerk, well, then I'm a jerk. I want other kids to have good experiences too. I want it to work out. I'd love for it to work in Oxford so we wouldn't have to travel. But I want my kid to have a good experience. You want your kid to have a good experience. Let's be real. Some of the caveats that people throw out are, pardon my language here, hit the fast forward button if you have a kid in the car just one time. They're bullshit.
Yeah, everybody works inside out, not outside in.
That's a good way of putting it.
You're not going to harm your kid for the betterment of the league. I mean, you're just not. That's life.
That's a good way of putting it.
So anyway, yeah, I was happy for him. Kind of followed it a little bit as you were tweeting and different things. But
I didn't tweet.
That was it.
I Instagrammed.
Yeah, okay. You linked an Instagram.
Yeah,
post.
yeah.
Sorry.
And then
okay.
I didn't tweet. I'm trying not to tweet.
It doesn't
much.
count if you tweet an Instagram post.
Well, it did, but it did. But my point is I'm trying not to like tweet
the rapid fire stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm
Stream
trying
of consciousness.
Yeah, I'm trying like not to tweet much at all. The less I tweet, the better.
Wait, what gauge this?
I just decided
You've been messing with this for a year, probably.
Yeah, and I think I'm just more at peace when I'm keep things.
Social media is not a good tool for mental health.
No, I'm more at peace when I spend less time on it. I spent less time on Twitter in the last 2 weeks than I have in a long time, and I've really enjoyed it.
When I opened my computer this morning, around 6 o'clock when I got up, I had not opened my computer since Thursday night.
That's good.
Since I loaded that column on Urban Meyer and Floyd Allen, whatever day that was, I had not opened my
late
computer.
Thursday, really early
late
Friday.
Thursday, early Friday.
Yeah.
Like
Good
I was
for
getting
you.
all the messages pop up from the weekend. Didn't open it.
That's probably good.
Never got out of my backpack while I was going over the weekend.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I was on Twitter and on my phone, but small steps.
Yeah.
Small steps. You know, it's all good.
I used mine this weekend to follow the Cubs a little bit, and that was about it, man. I mean, seriously, he had a game at 2 o'clock on Saturday, and the Cubs were playing, and I was checking Twitter just to kind of see how they were doing against the Reds. That was the extent of it. Really, that was it. It was kind of fun. He wanted to go to Buffalo Wild Wings Saturday night, and I'm like, hey, man, you're the one that ran in the heat. We'll go wherever. And we sat there, and I didn't even get on my phone. It was great. Just kind of hung out.
What's his flavor at Wild Wings? What's he do?
When we left.
He's 11. The palate's going to be pretty bland.
He gets the mild wings, and he likes their fried pickles or whatever. But he got out of there. There was a Korean steakhouse next to us that he said we should have gone there. And I'm like, yeah, we should have gone to a lot of places.
Is that one of those where they bring the meat out when you flip the thing over?
Yeah,
I know those are usually Brazilian, but
no. I don't know. No, I think it's more like that's a good question. I don't know.
Okay. It's like Brazilian and Argentinian, I think, are the ones that usually you can flip the things over.
Yeah, and that's like what you do
the
for
Texas
those.
Day Brazils and stuff like that.
Like you go to that on Saturday and you don't eat starting on Tuesday, and you go
because you know what's coming.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, you're spending silly money for. That's the whole deal.
Everybody ever goes in and goes, "But do you have a diet plate? Like, do you, what is your locale option in this establishment?
Where's your chocolate fountain?
That's Golden Corral.
I know.
Did you see it was on Twitter a couple weeks ago? The guy had the gravy fountain with the biscuits for the wedding or whatever it was.
And he goes, "This is how we do weddings in Southeast Arkansas." And I was like, "Well, thank God I'm not there."
A sausage gravy fountain.
Yeah, I actually gave that some thought. Like, how would you, how?
We stopped on the way back yesterday to meet a friend in Elizabethtown, about an hour outside Lexington, and the only options were Cracker Barrel or Denny's.
Cracker Barrel.
I went to Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
And now look, Sunday morning on getaway day, Cracker Barrel is an experience. I had a good people watching time, but I was gonna say, you bashed on it the other day. I looked at the back of the menu. They had a breakfast plate, an entire breakfast plate for 310 calories at Cracker Barrel.
Was that the egg whites and the fruit?
It was turkey sausage, egg whites, tomatoes, and fruit.
Yeah.
maybe even grits. Now that I think about it, I'm sure no butter, but maybe just a bowl of unflavored grits were included with that as well.
Yeah, I saw
options,
that.
Baby. Options.
I saw that. I just
whatever Uncle Herschel's thing is not 310 calories.
No,
but
it's like each bite's 300 calories.
But there were some options on the.
What'd you have at Cracker Barrel?
They had some steel cut oatmeal on there. I had eggs. I knew they were bad, but I wanted them anyway. The fried apples, and then I had a piece of country ham. That's what I had. So it was fine. All good. Yeah. Breakfast I'm good with. I don't like Cracker Barrel at lunch or dinner at all. I can't find anything I really like on that menu. But breakfast I can manage, and I'm all right. It's fine.
It's just not my place because their juice is real pulpy.
Yeah, I don't like. Well, I didn't even get juice because I knew that. I just drank several cups of coffee.
And the coffee is. How do I say this? You know how sometimes you'll go to like a place where there's. Usually it's up north.
Okay.
And it's kind of old. Or their demographics.
I really don't know where
old,
you're going here.
And the coffee tastes like, hey, let's just reuse those grounds.
Oh, okay.
It's super watery.
Yeah.
And doesn't taste like coffee.
There's no richness.
Yes. I've never had a cup of coffee at Cracker Barrel where I didn't think they use the same grounds 7 times. Yeah. Very, very weak.
It did not exceed or be below my expectations, whatever those were yesterday. I drank it, and I don't know that I had a cognitive thought about the coffee as I was sipping it. But sure, whatever.
There are people right now going, when are you going to talk about football?
Later.
Yeah, we'll get there.
My show. I've done 2,000 of them.
So I want to hear about the weekend in Kentucky because I've heard just enough to know that you're going to be very uncomfortable talking about this.
Probably because real quick. All right, we'll go to that in a second. First, we'll do that. I'll tell you that the podcast is brought to you in part by Oxford Wine and Spirits. They are on College Hill Road next to Lost Pizza. They've got the chicory liqueur we've been telling you about. It is in stock. I went by and picked up a bottle. We've discovered that it's 33 proof or 33% alcohol. It is twice the alcohol content of Bailey's. A little over twice the content of Kahlua as well.
And
so
it's better.
It's better as well.
That's coming from someone who really likes Kahlua.
You're a fan of the Kahlua. You're a fan of the late night Kahlua ice cream deal. So,
Kahlua's good. Kahlua is really good. I'm just telling you, this stuff's better.
Yeah, chicory liqueur. They're at Oxford Wine and Spirits. Tell them you heard about it on the podcast. Spend $150 or more when you go in to stock up for game weekends. And when you do that, it's 5% off wine, 10% off liquor there at Oxford Wine and Spirits.
This podcast also brought to you by Robert Gambrell and Gambrell and Associates. Robert knows that many of the people listening to this podcast will never need a bankruptcy attorney or a Social Security disability attorney. However, many of you may be interested in reviewing your financial situation to consider asset protection. This is a part of what a good bankruptcy attorney does. Many of your friends, your relatives, they get into difficult financial situations. Gambrell and Associates helps many of those people work through their times of hardship, whether that results in filing a bankruptcy petition or working to avoid a bankruptcy filing. Others are primarily worried about the credit score. For those people, many times they refer their clients to Brian McLaurin, another advertiser on this podcast. Whatever your needs are, your relatives or friends can get a free consultation for 1 hour or more to help make your decision on what is best for you. Search for Robert Gambrell on avvo.com or superlawyers.com or give him a call, 662-281-8800. Youth basketball registration and the Oxford Park Commission is right around the corner. It starts September the 4th. So sign up your son or daughter for one of their leagues. The age range is 5 to 15. The cost is $50. Last year, they had more than 600 kids take part in the leagues, and the numbers are expected to be similar this year. So don't miss your opportunity when it comes time to sign up for OPC Youth Basketball. It's oxfordparkcommission.com. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, look no further than Grenada Nissan. They have a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals, whatever Nissan you're looking for. If they don't have it, they can get it. Great service, phenomenal people there at Grenada Nissan. I've done business with them for more than a decade. You can take my word for it. You'll be very pleased with your product and your service at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And as Chase mentioned, my 10 weekend thoughts are up on the site. It's called rebelgrove.com. It's part of the rivals.com network. We have like stories and videos and pics and mailbags and everything. It's right there on the site. You can join and get it. We would like it. It's less than $10 a month. If you get an annual subscription, it's less than $9 a month. rebelgrove.com. Those 10 thoughts are sponsored by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than he does. Go to his site. He'll prove it to you. HarryAlexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through by what you may be looking for, and then send him an email. It's ha@harryalexander.com.
All right. No, I was talking to you about when I came in this morning, and I mean, and I mean this is all seriousness. I haven't had any personal experience with this as far as a wedding, but it was really well done. It was gorgeous. The bride was my wife's college roommate, known her for years. She's very, very happy. Everything went well.
Good. But good to see people happy.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, yeah. You see that somebody that I hadn't seen in a long time pick back up, got to see some college friends, all good. What I found interesting though is I was kind of sitting there. Was you had, and let's be honest here, I mean, I don't know, this is in state secrets, you had one side of the wedding party that was more of a drinking set. I mean, I don't mean that as drugs, but you know what I mean? Like, wanted alcohol at the wedding, you had a wet boy, it's very common.
One side, turns look, there are those of us, and I'm in this group, that a weddings can be boring for me. Okay. I'm going to talk for me.
Yeah.
Don't apply for anybody else. Just me. And if the reception is going to be, frankly, dry.
And Amory's a dry county. I've been to a lot of dry weddings.
I don't really want to go.
You have the wedding where it's the juice and the nuts and everything or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, in Ruston, people would have the reception in Fellowship Hall at the church. And I'm not making fun. My personal experience was boring.
Yeah, no, none of this is making fun. I mean this in all seriousness. You had a side that's preference was to have alcohol at the wedding. No more than that, no less than that. That is it. And I'm not saying that it was necessarily even a preference, but you could definitely tell that the other side was not as inclined for that. And I give everybody credit here because they coexisted. You know what I mean? Like, there have been a lot of weddings where that would have almost, because look, everything's hyped up, everybody's nervous, everybody makes the smallest detail in a wedding the end of the freaking world. So I gave them a lot of credit for just kind of coexisting. You let everybody live and let live. Nobody's pouring anything down your throat. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's doing that. And everything ran very smoothly. I thought that from a wedding party, from a melding of personalities and interest, I thought that was a compliment because there's no doubt that smaller things have created bigger issues in the wedding world over the years. So really commend everybody for that one. So anyway,
you would prefer there be a little sauce at the wedding.
I had a good time. It was a very, very good open bar. We had a good time. It was all good. Made sure I stayed on water too and stuff. I mean, really.
What did you drink at the wedding? Because when the bar's wide open like that, you can go too far fast.
Yeah, there's a place in Lexington, the reception, for anybody that has any idea, which is like 0.1% of who we're talking to right now. They've got a new event space called the Apiary, and it was multiple rooms inside. It was outside garden areas. There were multiple bars. It was a really, really cool venue for a reception. Buses took everybody everywhere, so you have to worry about getting there, getting off, and any of that stuff. No, from an open bar standpoint, it was really well done. It was Woodford. It was Four Roses single barrel and small batch.
Oh.
There were multiple vodkas. It was. I would say 25 different liquor options from an open bar standpoint.
Wow.
Something like that.
So what'd you
I alternated a good bit between Woodford and Four Roses. It was funny because we were hanging out with another couple that the girl went to Ole Miss as well, and I've known them for a decade or so. And you walk over to the bartender, and you definitely tell the bartender's been told, hey, pour singles. Like, it's an open bar, make sure you pour singles or whatever. and you're doing the PR thing and the persuasion thing of, well, really I'm helping you out because if you'll give me a double, you won't see me for twice as long. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep walking back to you. And about half the time that would work, and then about half the time you had the real hardcore bartender that goes, no, I enjoy pouring you. Just come back when you're done. And they were very they were very hardcore about staying with the singles. Now we did find one bartender that they didn't give him a jigger. So he used that to our advantage and his advantage. He goes, well, they didn't give me anything to measure with, so how do I know what's a single and what's a double? I'm an idiot.
Some people count to 4 fast. Some people count to 4 slow.
Yeah, he kind of did the, hey, I'm an idiot, here you go, and poured it on over.
That starts when you're a little kid, when you say, okay, you can rush on 4 Mississippi. Well, there's a difference between 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi,
so when they go, hey, pour for a 2 count.
Yeah.
One,
some people count
2.
1 Mississippi, 2, and it's a little different. Ends up being different volumes poured in the glass.
Had a
former bartender, I can tell you that's how that works.
Had a band from Nashville that was excellent.
Good.
Did a lot of Motown
Country?
and stuff. No. Did a lot of Motown and stuff.
Okay.
Really, really good. Interactive. So, yeah, all in all, can't complain. But, yeah, I mean, being from a place that at least a town or a county's dry, the alcohol angle is always interesting to me at weddings. Just people having very, very, very strong opinions for or against in those situations.
For those of you who missed the pre-podcast discussion of certain parts of Chase's weekend, I'm sorry. He can't talk about that on this here show, but it was interesting.
Yeah, that's the subscriber edition of the podcast.
You have to have the elite,
the Diamond Elite status for that.
Diamond Elite MVP status.
Diamond Medallion with Delta or whatever it is.
Something like that.
Yeah. I saw a lot of Secret Service over the weekend. They were doing a Republican fundraiser in the hotel we were staying in, and Sarah Sanders was there. And there were Secret Service crawling. We actually were getting our car to drive somewhere on Saturday, and she pulled up to get out at the hotel, arriving for Saturday night. Because we were at breakfast Saturday morning, and the waitress comes over, and it was strange because it was almost like a warning. She walks over and she goes, hey, just letting you guys know, it's probably going to be protesters and a commotion here tonight. And we're like, huh? And they said, well, we have a wedding at 6. She goes, well, there's the Lincoln dinner, some Kentucky Republican thing, is upstairs at the hotel, and Sarah Sanders is going to be here. So just telling you really should stay away from the area and stuff. And I was like, is that bad? Like, what are we looking at here? And so then we're waiting on the car, and an SUV pulls up, car pulls up behind and in front. Multiple Secret Service people get out, open her door, she gets out of the back seat and goes inside the hotel. And what we were talking about afterwards is multiple people goes, hey, thanks for your service. I spoke to her or whatever. And then there was one woman over here that flipped her off. And I thought, this isn't even really a political thing. It's not a political thing at all. It's a human decency thing.
Exactly.
What are you trying to accomplish, or what do you feel like you were pulling off with that move? I mean, because let's be honest, and I had the whole White House thing last month. I know when I see Secret Service, frankly, I make sure I don't move a muscle. What makes you want to tempt Secret Service by making any gesture whatsoever at a commissioned officer, for that matter?
Yeah, because let's keep in, you don't just walk into the Secret Service store and say, hey, I'd like to apply for a job here. And that doesn't quite work like that. You have to be fairly sharp. And you got to have a little edge to you to be a Secret Service agent. I mean, these are not, and I mean this in a complimentary way, these are not normal people. These are people that have, they got a little extra.
And are hyper vigilant.
Because it's their job.
Yeah.
And they do it well. Why would you? Yeah, I mean, when I'm around Secret Service people, yes, sir. No, sir. No, my hands are out, sir. Would you like to hold? Here's my hand. No.
It's like I think I told you on the podcast last time. We came back in from the landing or the arrival of Trump that night. Walked back into the White House, and there were 3 full SWAT-teamed Secret Service guys standing there. And your heart will skip a little bit when you walk in and see them. You go, hey, whoa, like all good here? Can I go this way?
Because it's a different deal when the president is there.
Yeah, And again, this is just the press secretary, but there were multiple Secret Service members. She was accompanied well.
Speaks volumes for the. I don't know. It's funny, and I won't spend any time here. I promise.
Yeah, I didn't even know we were going to go here. I just
Well,
thought
it's
about
the McCain thing. I don't. The lack of just decency on the part of some in both parties, frankly. When a man like John McCain dies, can we not just put partisanship aside for a couple of minutes and just honor a guy that by any account's an American hero?
Yeah, there were so many people that offered condolences with caveats yesterday.
No, he wasn't perfect.
Rest in peace, but ...
Or, even though I didn't agree. Well, do you agree with anyone on everything? Have you ever met, Chase, anyone that you agreed with on everything with them?
No, nothing. No one, ever.
I mean, of course, he lived a public life. Are you going to agree with every political view that he had? Of course not.
Did you see Tiger Woods' answers to questions yesterday about Trump?
I did not.
Did you not see this? All right.
No, to finish my point real quick, and it'll dovetail with yours.
Yeah.
What's happened with me as the political discourse in our country has gotten so caustic is I'm doing the one thing I always promised myself I would never do.
Shut it off.
I've completely disassociated from it. I couldn't tell you what's going on in the world right now, and that's not healthy. And I've got to work on it, but I'm turned off by it. So anyway, go ahead.
So yesterday, and I'm told it was a New York Times writer working on a bigger piece about something, but they were at the Northern Trust, the first playoff event for the PGA Tour.
Okay.
Tiger Woods had just finished his round. I don't know. He made the cut. He didn't contend. He was somewhere in the middle. And here's the exact transcript of the questions asked by this guy. And, it puts, because of the way media is today, especially the athletes that don't really want to discuss it, it puts them in strange positions when they're asked because they can catch a lot of criticism for avoiding the topic as well. So I'm always interested on how athletes and celebrities and different people that kind of want to be apolitical a lot of times handle things. So Tiger is asked, first question, your relationship with Donald Trump, how would you describe that professionally and personally? Tiger's answer, well, I've known Donald for a number of years. We played golf together. We've had dinner together. I've known him pre-presidency and obviously during the presidency. And then here is the one. There's two more questions. This is the one that I found interesting in a positive way because Tiger clearly knew how to answer this question to diffuse anyone from either side. And frankly, it's something I agree with too. So that helps me when I read this. At times, especially 2018, I think a lot of people, especially colored immigrants, are threatened by him and his policy. What do you say to people who might find it interesting that you have a friendly relationship? Question. Tiger's answer, well, he's the president of the United States. You have to respect the office. No matter who's in the office, you may like, dislike personality or the politics, but we must respect the office. His answer.
It's fair.
One final question. Do you have anything more broadly to say about the state and discourse of race relations?
Okay.
Tiger's answer, no, I just finished 72 holes and I'm really hungry. End of questioning.
Good for Tiger.
He did everything to diffuse it to stay away from political discussion while also giving a very respectful answer.
I always used to get mad when people did this to Michael Jordan. Just because you're a great player, and God knows Jordan was, and just because you're a great player, and God knows Woods still is, and once was the best on the planet, does not mean that you have to have a public political view. You still have a right to privacy as it pertains to your political views, to your thoughts, to your discourse. You're not obligated because you're a great golfer to become a social, what's the word I'm looking for, beacon. You don't have to be that. You shouldn't have to be that.
To his credit, he was ready for the question, 100%.
Sure.
It was coming at some point. Okay, fine.
I'm good with every one of his answers.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that's how I feel about the presidency. If you've ever, and you have, and I have, if you've ever stood on the precipice of the Oval Office and looked into that room with any amount of time in your own head to sort of reflect about what happens in that room, I think you have a certain degree. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. A certain degree of respect for the office. Just a certain degree of awe for the decisions that get made in there. I mean, John Kennedy stood in that office. People talk about, this vision of his son underneath the table, the desk. I mean, he stood in that office at a time in 1962 and had conversations about, well, is this nuclear war? What are we headed towards?
Mm-hmm.
George W. Bush returned to that office late on September 11th, 2001, with some really heavy decisions to make. That room's probably at certain times been the loneliest room on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And I just think there's a certain respect that you have to have for it, even if you don't necessarily respect and or appreciate the person who's occupying that office.
Continue in a second. First, say the podcast brought to you in part by Lockers Stockers. Just a dozen days away from the home opener for Ole Miss football when Southern Illinois comes to town. You place your order, and they handle purchase and delivery to your locker or your suite before game day. You can still lock in a preseason price with Locker Stockers. Give them a call at 662-586-1487 or info@lockerstockers.com. Remember, do it now, and you get a little cheaper deal before the season gets here.
As Chase said, the home opener not that far away. I know we're focused on Texas Tech now. Southern Illinois next week. It's the first of 7 home games, and if you haven't set up all of your tailgating, it's okay. You still have time. Get in touch with Kyle Thornton and the people at 7 South Tailgating. They're celebrating 10 years of business this season. If you try them once, you'll never tailgate without them again. 7 South will set up your own personal gear, or you can rent everything from them. No one matches their customer service or their attention to detail at 7southtailgating.com. Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate is the person to call for all your real estate needs in the Birmingham area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. Visit her site, Megan M. Phillips, that's MEAGAN, mphillips.com, or call Megan at 205-602-7929. Again, 205-602-7929. This podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home and all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you want, all with the personal touch. OUB also offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000, and with Kasasa, ATM fees nationwide are refunded. OUB also offers online bill pay and mobile check deposit using its online app. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
In Memphis, the name to know in real estate is Stacy Berry, a Keller Williams agent looking to help you find your special place to call home, whether that's downtown, midtown, Germantown, or Collierville. Born and raised in the Bluff City, she knows the dynamic and unique intricacies that the city has to offer. She's wanting to get you in the 901 today. It's your first-time home buyer looking to downsize. She'll evaluate and determine your current home value and sell it quickly for top dollar. So sell a home, buy a home, or invest in real estate. The Berry Home Team is the place to unlock Memphis for you. 901-481-6420, Stacy Lane Berry at kw.com or theberryhometeam.com. That's Stacy with an E, the name to know in Memphis. Closing up the political talk for the day, I did listen to the first 3 episodes of Slow Burn on the way up on Friday. Very well done, very hooked, as that's one of my main historical interests. So
you're welcome.
I'm in. Yeah, all good.
You're welcome.
I would have gotten to it anyway, but I did it a little quicker. I tried to listen to the first episode of the second season of Up and Vanished and couldn't get into it. I actually turned it off about halfway through.
Have you listened to Slow Burn Season 1?
Yes, I've done.
Watergate?
Yeah. So we're caught up there. I searched through the podcast app trying to find about anything on the way home and was kind of having a hard time. I tried Up and Vanished, then I tried some Australian murder mystery thing and got about half an episode in that too. So I was...
Did you try the RFK tapes?
I saw them and didn't click the button.
It's good.
Okay. Yeah, I did not do that. I have not done that. So, anyway, just a little podcast recommendation for anyone interested.
I'm waiting for them to drop the last one, and I'll try to make myself wait because I've got to drive to the airport early. The last episode of the RFK tapes.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Is supposed to drop.
Oh, they're that far into it now?
Yeah, and I'm trying to make myself wait, and I can listen to it on the way up to the airport on Friday, but I know how that works. I won't.
You'll hit it beforehand?
Yeah, I won't make it.
All right.
When it comes to stuff like that, I have no willpower at all.
Okay, a little bit of football talk here on this portion of the show. Hey, I'm getting to it, 45 minutes in.
Well, we're kind of to that point, Chase, where we're
just waiting on a game. The hay is in the barn, as every football coach in America says on the Thursday or the Friday before the game.
Look, they're going to release, I anticipate, they will release a depth chart. Woo! Depth chart. Depth chart! They'll release a depth chart today, but that's it. That's the only news.
Cliff Kingsbury doing that stupid thing that, frankly, tells me he doesn't like something about his team. He was refusing to name a starting quarterback prior to the first snap on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock.
Means he doesn't have one.
He says, we'll just surprise you all at 11 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's going to be Carter McLean, but nonetheless. Yeah, I don't know. He keeps saying they're going to run the football. Maybe they are, but.
Well, if I'm playing against Ole Miss, I'm damn sure going to try to run it.
Yeah. Prove they can stop it before I do anything else.
I mean, they did not stop the run last year.
124th.
I mean, if you're playing Ole Miss, I mean, anyone who gets mad at me for this, you're too emotional. If your job, and it is his job, is to beat Ole Miss, you're lining up. It makes sense. This is the strategy you would use against Ole Miss. I'm going to run it at you. I'm going to make you prove you can stop the run. I don't think you can. And if you can't, I'm going to run the ball. We're going to possess the clock. We're going to possess the ball. I'm going to keep your offensive weapon standing on the sideline, and I'm going to force you to play from behind. Or you're telling the truth and all the stuff that you've said in the media over there in Oxford, which is we're going to stack the box to the point that you won't be able to run it. You're going to have to beat us over the top, and we'll go ahead and we'll do that. But I'm not lining up and playing Ole Miss with 5 wides and throwing it around and stuff and letting that offense get on the field all day. That's stupid.
We'll do some season buy or sales later in the week, probably on the podcast, but for the heck of it here. Texas Tech. Buy or sell, they get 200 rushing yards on Saturday.
Ooh. That's a fun number because you can really talk through it a lot. If they want to and they're committed to it, it would be interesting to see if they could get there because if they can, Ole Miss is in trouble.
See, here's the funny thing, though. Kingsbury keeps talking about running the ball. The offensive line is their strength. I mean, look, they have no quarterback experience, and the kid they're going to start has no arm. So this is not going to be the most dynamic passing attack Ole Miss faces this season or anything, even though they have a reputation for throwing it around. But here's the deal. Kingsbury's not a runner. He's never done that in his career. They increased it a little last year, but they still threw the ball more than anything else. You stop it early, he'll bail on it because he's not comfortable sticking with it.
No doubt. If you told me they got 200, I would tell you they had success with it all game and that they probably –
Ole Miss found a way to get the ball, score, go stop them a couple times, score again. He quits. He starts throwing that sucker everywhere.
Yeah, my answer, I think, is sell.
Okay.
If you're buying – boy, I mean, if you told Matt Luke today you guys gave up 247 yards on the ground to Texas Tech, I think he'd have to go throw up.
Because in his mind, he goes, well, they throw it some, so they're going to have 500 total yards of offense.
Well, it tells you that they ate clock, that they kept your offense off the field. And listen, I'm in the minority here. The people that are doing this Jordan Ta'amu is a star thing. I think he has a chance to be a star. But for Ole Miss to do the 8-win thing that people talk about, Chase, Jordan Ta'amu has to be better this year than he was last year. He has to be more consistent, and he has to be a better quarterback.
Speaking of, let's do another one. Buy or sell, Jordan Ta'amu, 285 passing yards on Saturday.
Well, I think he'll have to have that to win.
Okay.
So I'll buy.
He's got to throw 300 to win?
Yeah, I'll buy. I think Ole Miss is going to win the game. I think they're going to score a lot of points. I think he's going to play well. It's funny. I say that about Tamu, and I'll get little comments from people going, why are you down on Tamu? I'm not at all. Not even a little bit.
He just has been more consistent than he was the last 2 or 3, 4 games of the season.
He was not great in the first half at Kentucky. He was not great at times against Mississippi State. And the game that Ole Miss fans have completely discounted. It recency bias and rivalry bias and emotion has allowed Ole Miss fans to forget the Texas A&M game last year. It's as if it never happened.
It was actually a good game in a lot of ways for it defensively, and was a terrible game for it offensively in a lot of ways.
Yes. But
A&M did not score a touchdown in the second half.
It is a game that Ole Miss fans have forgotten. They have just discounted it. That offense bogged down in that game, and Jordan Ta'amu, and he'll tell you this, was not particularly good that day. Now, I think he may have played a little loopy because he took a shot and got back up and played, and I'm not convinced that he was completely with it. But I'm not saying they played him concussed. I'm sure they looked at him, but you can be a little loopy and not be concussed, I think.
Lodge, Metcalf, and Brown, who has the fewest impact on the game, the least impact on the game on Saturday?
Brown.
Because they cover him up?
Lock him up, or try to, and it opens up the other two to make plays.
Same with Ole Miss, they don't have to force it.
No, you know what? I'm going to change my answer. I'm going to change my answer to Lodge because as of last week, his ankle was still bothering him.
That's right, yeah. Kind of really thought about injuries from that standpoint. What do you think Longo's goal is for rushing yards on Saturday?
150.
150? Or 5 a carry?
If Ole Miss gets to 150 yards on the ground, they're winning.
I think it's just 5 a carry.
Maybe so.
However you want to do it.
I think he'd like to run the football. They'd love to establish a running game. You don't want to. Look, at the end of the day, you've got a quarterback who's a senior who's backed up by a true freshman. You do want to minimize the opportunities to get Ta'amu rolled up. You don't want to play Alabama in 2 weeks with Matt Corral as your starting quarterback. Nothing against Matt. The expectation is he's going to have a very good career. He is a true freshman. This time last year, he was playing high school football games. Those are true facts. You'd rather him not be put under center in the SEC in September.
You get a few games now without losing a red shirt. 4, right?
Yeah, 4.
Do you use one of those next week against Southern Illinois?
Absolutely not.
You hold them in case somebody gets hurt. You could particularly get a 5th year out of it.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely. I save his redshirt year if at all possible.
Let's say whoever's late in the year, A&M or somebody hurts Ta'amu for the sake of the conversation.
Well, now it's a different deal.
Well, no, my point being, though, you could use them without losing the year at that point.
Yes. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean, you get to the last 4 games of the year, you might as well play. What's the difference?
Sure.
But you don't blow one next week against the FCS.
I don't.
Okay.
Unless I already know that, hey, we're going to play him in 5 or 6 games. Well, then, absolutely, get him minutes, snaps.
What's your reasoning, just in case you might need it more later for something else?
Well, if you've already made up your mind that you're going to play him this year.
No, I mean that you're going to redshirt him. But you get 4 games. You can play around a little bit.
I'd save him.
Okay.
I'd do it later. I mean, they have like that game against UL. It's ULM in October. Isn't there another non-league game late? No, that's it. I mean, I might give him some snaps against ULM in the middle of October, knowing that that's
just Kent State's the other one.
That's just one. Yeah, I'm not playing him early. And I don't know who your third quarterback is. In those games, I'm just giving the ball to Ta'amu and said, hand the damn thing off and get out of the way. Not throwing it up late. If you're playing Southern Illinois and it's 38-7 with 11 minutes to go, just run. Everybody's been wanting to see Tyler Knight. Here's your chance.
Here's the ball.
Go for it.
How do you anticipate running back carries to be divvied up on Saturday?
I think Phillips gets 50% of them. I think Knight gets 10 to 15% of them because they keep talking about him so much that there's bound to be something there. They'll give Swinney a few carries.
That's about it.
That's about it. Willard might get a carry or two. I kind of doubt it. I get the sense that they'd like to go with two backs. And it'll probably be Phillips and Swinney, and then Knight's going to get a change of pace look. He's the guy that, to prove to you that media do listen to coaches, everyone keeps talking about him, so I think there must be something there.
I mean, I don't think they're just all doing it for their help.
I mean, it's possible it's just coach speak, and they're using the media as a ploy.
People do that.
People do it. I don't think that's what these guys are doing.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting. Understands your market, so ask about that. And the flow down option allows you to lock in the current rate, but if we go down before you close, you get that lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE, JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Guest will join us all week on the Billy's Pecans hotline. Billy's Pecans, it's not too late. Order today. Maybe you'll get them in time to head out to Houston if you're leaving maybe Friday. If you got some college tailgates, if you're starting, you got high school tailgates, I should say. Maybe you're getting ready for the college tailgate starting next week in the Grove. Billy's Pecans would be a perfect item to add to your tailgate. All the pecans, cheese Krispies, coffee cakes, jelly sauces, it's all there. Billy's Pecans. Get in touch with them. It's billyspecans.com, 1-800-624-7404.
Podcast also brought to you by Tyson Drugs there in Holly Springs, 662-252-2321. TysonDrugs.com. They have a great app as well that you can use, and they're located now in Oxford with G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar, where they deliver local in the Oxford area. Saw this yesterday. Thoughts of everybody involved with the Jacksonville shooting during the esports competition. They were having a Madden competition there at a local establishment, and one of the participants came back and opened fire. He actually, I think, won the event last year in 2017, and I kind of have a point here as we continue the podcast. I might write about this later in the week as it stays in my mind a little more. Esports becoming a very big thing in this country. Ole Miss is not far away from an announcement about esports as well. Heard some of that the last couple of weeks. It's a growing deal. It's interesting. There is a subculture that's much bigger than people give it credit for. Not replacing anything, just another thing.
Sure.
I've got the Twitch app on my phone where people watch all these streamers. I don't use it much, but it's there. I've watched a few from time to time. And a lot of the participants and people that do this are highly successful, highly intelligent, have excellent hand-eye coordination and cognitive ability where they're just good at video games. That's a part of this. There's also a segment that are dealing with some different mental issues. There's some that have some I'm trying to stay politically correct. I think I'm using all the correct words, but, from an autism standpoint, some spectrum things. They are, as it becomes bigger and more money's involved and just an overall production, they got to figure out a way to focus more on mental health, because that is an area of our country with esports that a very high percentage have something that people would classify as abnormal, and however you want to do that. So I don't know. It's an interesting deal for them as they try to navigate this, as it becomes a billion-dollar business, frankly. And you've got you have a very wide-ranging set of participants from, I guess, what attracts them to the games and then how they go about being so successful at it. So just a thought there.
I've never gotten into it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I never have.
I haven't played a video game in over a decade. I haven't picked one up. I'm aware of.
There's a PS4 right here in the room. Yeah. Carson plays it. Now, we don't let him play anything that – we don't even let him play not Minecraft. What's the one that everyone's doing now?
Fortnite.
We don't let him play. I've had people say, why? I don't know. Just don't like it. He just plays MLB, plays the NBA 2K, and mostly he plays FIFA. and I put time limits on it. I don't know why. I just limit it. But yeah, you're right. Listen, not just in the esports industry, but you're exactly right. What you just said, everything's 100%. I agree completely. Mental health in general is like this frontier in our country that we sometimes don't want to cross.
Because it has a stigma that's so unnecessary and untrue.
Jackie McMullen last week
Yeah, I saw this.
did it was remarkable work. She's so good. I don't know if you've ever read her stuff, listened to her. She's great. I'm a big fan. But she talked to, started with Kevin Love, the Cleveland Cavaliers forward. And it's now expanded. DeMar DeRozan, some other players in the NBA with mental hurdles that they have to overcome all the time. Just because they're professional athletes doesn't mean they're not humans. It's something that we have to get as a country. We've got to get over it. We've got to stop the stigma on people who seek out some mental health. Mental health doesn't mean you're insane. It doesn't mean something's necessarily even wrong with you. It just means you just battle some stuff. Why would you not go get help? This is coming from someone who battled some stuff for a long time, and didn't get help, and finally got help. Why would you, if you have a stomach ache and the stomach ache persists for months and years, you finally go to a doctor? Because it could be something else, right? I mean, what if it's whatever it is? I mean, if you have acid reflux for years, you go get some help. And no one thinks anything of it. I always find that amazing that, like, someone can lose 100 pounds in our society and we all go, man, great for you. That's awesome. And it is. It is absolutely awesome.
But there should be the same praise for mental hurdles as well.
Someone goes, you know what? I was kind of battling some depression. Just was down for no reason. And I went and got some help, and I'm a little better.
The first step is simply that. Let counseling and therapy no longer be a weakness.
Yeah.
It's not a weakness if you sprain your ankle and go to the doctor. I mean,
Of course. Well, it's the chronic thing. It's the if you can't, if you're having bowel dysfunction for a year, well, there's a chance you got a little issue or something that maybe a medicine could help, right? No one's embarrassed to do that. How many ads will we hear now that football season's back? Seriously, this is I don't mean this to be funny. How many erectile dysfunction ads will we see over the next 5 months? A gazillion.
I see about 12 a day on the Golf Channel. That's all it's on.
Yeah, now that the NFL's here.
Yeah, same demographic type stuff they're hitting. Yeah.
Here we go. I don't know why that's so hard. Yeah. It's one of the big challenges, in my opinion, that our country faces. Whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, whether you're conservative, whether you're liberal, whether you're anything in between. I didn't mean to hijack your.
Oh no, you're good. That was it.
It's just I think we'd have a kinder, gentler world a little bit if people.
I just saw that yesterday as I was driving back in Jacksonville, and like I said, limited experience I have with that world. I thought we got something here that needs to be handled. I don't know how, but
I just think for some people there is a obsessiveness that happens with that, and it crosses over from fantasy / fake to becoming real.
There were 9 victims, 7 with gunshot wounds, 2 hurt fleeing the scene, 2 fatalities, and then the gunman killed himself.
Right.
It was inside a pizza restaurant in Jacksonville. It was a qualifier for the national whatever. One of the gamers tweeted yesterday that he got literally lucky because the bullet hit his thumb as he was in the place.
Yeah, everyone gets into the gun thing, and you can go there a million times. I don't know, but there's a mental health.
Yeah, it says another gamer, Tim Anselmo, was shot multiple times according to his mother. He was shot 3 times, once in the nipple, once on the hand, and once somewhere else. He was a member of Bucks Gaming, the Milwaukee Bucks NBA 2K League team.
He was killed.
It does not say that,
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. So, anyway. Okay. Yeah, no good segue, but here we are.
This is people say, "Why does your podcast work?" I'm like, I don't know, but it's not your traditional podcast. So
no, that's what. Well, we'll close there, kind of wrapping it all up. I got the question so many times over the weekend, what do you do? And that's a very hard question to answer these days, like especially to people who have no idea really what Rivals.com is or anything else.
Yeah.
It's like, because I've started where I go, I'm in sports media. And they go, well, do you write? Yeah. Do you talk? Yeah. Are you on TV? Not really. So what do you do? I don't know. I mean,
it's hard. I don't know.
Like I think like one time Kira goes, well, he's sort of a small business owner, and I thought, I guess that's as good as anything else right now without having to go in and explain anything.
I've done that before. I've said, well, I'm kind of an entrepreneur in a way.
Yeah,
sort of
a media entrepreneur.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
Well, when like 80% of the wedding guests, I felt like just said, "Oh, I'm in insurance." And I was like, "Yeah, mine's not that simple. I've got to figure this out."
Although, like, this is fun, it's a true story. One of my brothers is in insurance, the other's in like computer programming. Sometimes if I'm like sitting at a bar by myself someplace, and if it's like some guy goes, "So what do you do?" I always know that there's a decent chance if I say I'm a sports writer, now I'm going to have to talk sports for the next 45 minutes. And if I'm in that mood that what I really want to do is not talk to anybody, I also know if I say I'm in computer programming, they might ask me 2 questions where I become immediately exposed.
You can't fake that.
I'm like, I'm in insurance.
And
it's so boring that they leave it alone.
Unless they're in insurance too.
Yeah.
What do you know? So-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. Now I'm a small shop.
Yeah, I just run a State Farm agency.
Oh, all right. Coverage at rebelgrove.com. More throughout the week.
I'm trying to be boring, sir.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll have plenty of content to you back tomorrow on the podcast. We'll talk to you then.